I spawned in a world I didn't recognize. It looked like a regular Minecraft forest. Tall oak trees, long grass, and fog curling around the trunks. But the light, it wasn't normal. The sun was pale, like it had been drained of color, and every sound seemed quieter than it should be. No animals, no buzzing insects, no village nearby, just wind, and even that felt heavy. At first, I thought it was my shaders. I had installed a horror shader pack earlier that day. Maybe it messed up the lighting, but then I noticed something else. The trees. They weren't standing still. When I looked away and turned back, their branches seemed to shift slightly, as if they were breathing. I walked a few blocks forward. My footsteps crunched on dry leaves, crack, 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 echoing unnaturally loud. The fog thickened around me, and the daylight faded quicker than usual. I checked the sky. It was already sunset. Impossible. I had just spawned. The day couldn't have passed that fast. That's when I heard it. A faint metallic sound. A low hum. Somewhere between a distant siren and a growl. It didn't fit any Minecraft sound I knew. It wasn't a cave noise. It wasn't ambient. It was alive. I froze, listening. It grew louder. Ooh-ah. Then stopped. My heart was pounding. It was probably just a sound bug, I told myself. I turned around to build a small shelter for the night. But when I placed the first block, everything around me changed. The forest had rearranged itself. The trees that were behind me were now closer. The clearing I had walked through was gone, replaced by thick, twisting roots and hanging vines. And the sound returned. Closer, clearer. This time, it wasn't one hum. It was many, like dozens of metallic throats calling in unison from deep within the woods. I tried to run. The fog followed. No matter how far I went, the forest kept closing in around me. When I opened my coordinates, they didn't change. It was as if I was stuck in one block, running endlessly in the same spot. That's when I saw it. Between the trees, a tall, black silhouette. It didn't move, but it was watching. Long arms, twisted backward, and no face. And then the siren screamed. The siren tore through the air, a deep, mechanical scream that made my screen flicker. I covered my ears, but it was inside the game. Inside my headset. The tall figure between the trees didn't move, but the sound seemed to come from it. The noise was glitching, repeating like broken code. Syria. Enon. Syria. I opened the pause menu, but the buttons lagged. Even exit game froze for a moment before I could click. When I tried to leave the world, nothing happened. It was as if the forest didn't want me to go. The fog thickened until I could barely see 5 blocks ahead. I ran blindly forward, smashing through leaves and branches. My hunger bar started dropping, even though I was in creative. That shouldn't happen. After a few minutes of running, I saw something through the mist. Roofs. A village. I almost cried with relief. But when I got closer, my hope turned to cold dread. The houses were broken, walls cracked, glass shattered. Some doors were missing, others hung from their hinges. No villagers, no golem, nothing alive. Only the sound of the wind, and the faint echo of that siren. I walked slowly down the main path, torch in hand. The flame flickered strangely, the particles stretched upward like smoke trying to escape. When I placed another torch, it vanished instantly. I checked the light level, 0. Everywhere. Even though my torches were burning, they didn't light anything. That's when I noticed the signs. Wooden signs nailed to the walls of houses. Every one of them said the same thing, in slightly different handwriting. Don't look at the trees. The forest sees. The last house at the end of the path had a half-broken door and a single lantern inside. The light was weak, pulsing like a heartbeat. I stepped in. There was a bed, a chest, and something on the floor, a map. I picked it up. At first, it was blank. Then slowly, red dots began appearing one by one, forming a shape, a circle. And in the center of the circle, me. Then new text appeared across the map, written in glitching red runes I'd never seen in Minecraft before. The forest moves when you don't. I dropped the map instantly. The lantern flickered, then went out. Darkness swallowed the room. And outside, the siren grew louder again. I ran upstairs. The floorboards creaked under my steps. Through the broken roof, I saw something moving between the houses. It wasn't one figure anymore. There were three, all tall, thin, and bending unnaturally as they walked. Their heads twisted slowly toward me. I didn't think. I just jumped from the window and ran. Through the wheat fields, through the fog, through everything. The world started glitching. The sky flashed red for a moment, and the grass beneath me turned grey. When I finally stopped, gasping for air, I realized something terrifying. The village I had just escaped from was right in front of me again. I stopped in disbelief. Same cracked walls, same sign, same ruined path. I turned around. The forest behind me was gone. Just an endless fog, flat and silent. It didn't make sense. I had sprinted 4 minutes in one direction. How could I be back here? I opened my coordinates. X, 127, Z, 56. Then I walked forward for a minute. When I checked again, the numbers hadn't changed. I wasn't moving. The world looked like it was, but the game didn't register it. Like the forest itself was keeping me here. I tried digging down. My pickaxe broke after 2 hits, even though it was netherite and fully repaired. The blocks didn't drop, they just disappeared. I crafted a boat, desperate for any way out. When I placed it, the sound was wrong, distorted, deeper, like a growl. I got in anyway and rode forward into the fog. For a moment, it felt like I was moving, but then, shapes began appearing in the mist. Not mobs, not trees, something else. They were silhouettes, stretched, distorted versions of villagers, tall and thin. Their heads tilted unnaturally. Their eyes glowed white through the fog, and each time the siren wailed, they twitched closer. I rode faster. My screen started to blur, the edges went dark. Then the boat stopped. I turned around. The water was gone. The village was there again. Same broken lantern, same map on the floor. Only now, the map was already red. The circle had closed completely, and new text appeared. Now you see, now you stay. My screen froze for a few seconds. When it returned, my player stood inside one of the houses. I hadn't moved him. The camera slowly turned toward the window. Outside, the trees were closer than before. Their trunks were twisted, bending toward the village, like they were crawling. And then, they moved. Not swaying like normal trees, but walking, roots dragging through the dirt, leaves whispering like voices. Every few seconds, the screen flickered, and they were closer. The siren started again, but this time it wasn't from the forest. It was from inside the game's menu. When I opened settings, every option was replaced by one line: stay in the forest. The cursor moved on its own and clicked yes. The screen went black, and when the world loaded again, I wasn't in the village anymore. I was standing in the middle of the forest, trees surrounding me on all sides. No path, no light, just the sound of branches creaking, and whispers behind me. I walked for what felt like hours. The fog didn't lift. It grew thicker, heavier, like breathing it in was wrong. At some point, I noticed something through the haze, a light, a single torch. I ran toward it, desperate for anything human. And there it was, a cabin, half rotten, buried in moss, with windows shattered and a door that opened by itself. Inside, a crafting table, cobwebs, and a chest. When I opened it, there was just one book inside, titled Field Notes, Cycle 4. The text inside wasn't like normal Minecraft writing. It flickered, as if glitching, letters rearranging themselves. Day 1. We arrived at the forest edge. The locals warned us not to enter after sunset. They said the forest remembers. Day 2. We lost our guide. Heard a siren last night. Thought it was wind. It wasn't. Day 4. Trees moved. They surrounded the camp while we slept. When we woke up, the path was gone. Day 6. One of us disappeared. We found his armor hanging on a branch. Empty. Day 8. The forest doesn't want us to leave. It feeds on us remembering. The last line was half erased, but still readable. If you're reading this, you're already part of it. I dropped the book. The sound of it hitting the floor echoed unnaturally, like the cabin was hollow inside. Then, a whisper. My player's name appeared in the chat. Unknown Alex. You found it again. I froze. Again. Before I could react, the chat filled up with more lines. Unknown. You left before. Unknown. But the forest brought you back. Unknown. Every cycle, you return. I tried typing, "Who are you?" but the message didn't send. Instead, my screen glitched, and I was outside the cabin again. The forest was closer. Branches scraping the ground, roots twitching like fingers. Then, I saw them. Figures standing between the trees. Dozens of them, still, watching. Their heads tilted toward me, and in the distance, that same metallic siren began again. Low, vibrating through the dirt beneath my feet. I opened the book again. A new page had appeared. Cycle 12 begins when the siren calls. To end it, someone must stay when the forest moves. The screen shook violently. I dropped everything and ran. Part 6. I sprinted through the fog, heart pounding. Every time the siren wailed, the trees moved just slightly, but enough for me to see them shift position. Some leaned closer, others turned their branches toward me. It was like the entire forest was alive, and it was hunting. Then, through the mist, a clearing. A stone altar stood in the center, surrounded by totems made of wood and skulls. Atop the altar, a carved block. It looked like bedrock, but it pulsed with red light. I approached. The moment I stepped closer, the chat appeared again. Unknown. You can end it. Unknown. Or you can stay. I hesitated. The ground beneath me began to shift. The grass twisted, forming words. Choose. I typed to leave. Nothing happened. I tried exiting the game. It froze. The siren grew louder, now deafening. Trees bent inward like walls closing around me. In desperation, I broke the altar block. The light exploded, and my screen went completely white. When it returned, I was back at spawn. Normal world. Normal light. Everything looked fine. But when I checked my coordinates, they were the same. X, 127, Z, 56. The same as before. The same as every cycle. And then, faintly in the background, one last sound. The siren. Soft. Distant. Getting closer again. When I respawned, everything looked normal. Bright, calm, peaceful. Birds chirping, the faint rustle of trees. The world was alive again. But something about the silence between the sounds felt off. Too precise. Too timed. Like the world was pretending to breathe. I walked toward the nearest hill, trying to convince myself it was just a shader glitch. The forest behind me seemed frozen, but I couldn't shake the feeling that it was waiting. Every few steps, my camera would twitch slightly, like someone else was watching through my eyes. I opened the chat. Nothing. No players online. Just me. Still, I typed, "Who are you?" This time, the message sent. No response. I waited. Then, one dot appeared. Then another. Then a message. Unknown. You left the altar incomplete. I felt my stomach twist. I hadn't seen any altar since I respawned. But when I turned around, the fog had started creeping back. It rolled over the trees like a living thing. Thick, heavy, cold. And then I heard it. The siren. Not loud, not yet, but distant. A familiar hum that crawled into my bones. Low, metallic, rhythmic, like breathing through broken pipes. I tried to run toward the plains biome, but the terrain stretched unnaturally. Every time I crossed a chunk border, it repeated. Same tree, same flower, same dirt block pattern. It was looping. I pressed F3. The coordinates kept changing, but not the world. Everything around me was moving in circles. The forest was moving again. I built a tower to see farther. It didn't help. The fog just rose with me. At the top, I could barely see 5 blocks ahead. And then, far below, I saw it. Something large moving between the trees. It wasn't a mob. It was too tall. Its head brushed the treetops. Its arms stretched out like roots. And when it turned, I saw its face. Not a face, a siren. To rusted speakers, fused to its shoulders, humming softly. The sound didn't come from its mouth. It came from everywhere. It wasn't just Siren Head. It was something older. Something that had been part of this world long before I spawned here. The chat blinked again. Unknown. It walks when you watch. Unknown. Stop looking. I looked away. Closed my eyes for a moment. When I opened them, I was inside a house. My house. The same cabin I had built in survival months ago. On another save. Same torches. Same chest. Same window view. Except, there was no sun outside. Only fog. On the table lay the same book. Field Notes. Cycle 4. I picked it up again. But this time, there were more pages. Day 12. I thought I escaped. But the world follows. The siren is not bound by code. It remembers every sound, every scream. Day 13. It speaks in echoes. The more you remember, the closer it gets. Day 14. You cannot delete the forest. You can only forget it. Then the writing shifted. Letters rearranged into a message. Alex. You recorded it. Now others will see. My screen flickered again. My OBS overlay appeared for a second. It was recording. But I hadn't started it. I moved my mouse. It lagged. Then, a whisper came from my headset. Not from the game. From my mic input. Don't stop. Tell them. Make them remember. My hands were shaking. The desktop flickered to black. Then to my webcam. But I don't own one. For a brief second, I saw a reflection. Not mine. A dark silhouette standing behind my chair. And then, my Minecraft world loaded again. Back at the forest. Same place. Same coordinates. X. 127. Z. 56. I knew I couldn't escape by logging out. So I tried something else. I built another altar. The same as before. Stone base. Torches at the corners. And the red pulsating block in the center. The siren stopped. Everything went silent. Then, the block changed. It turned into a door. A single iron door, glowing faintly. I opened it. And there, beyond it, nothing. Just a void of white pixels, humming softly. I stepped in. My screen froze for a long moment. Then it loaded. My desktop. But every icon had changed. To the same file. Cycle_13. TXT. I opened it. It said one thing. The forest moves when remembered. Then, my screen went black again. I woke up the next morning. My PC was off. The power cable unplugged. For a while, I thought it was just a dream. A long, creepy game session that messed with my head. But when I turned the PC on, the Minecraft launcher opened automatically. There was only one world listed. The forest that moves. I clicked it. World loading. Cycle 13. As I spawned, I heard it, faintly, behind me. That same metallic hum, rising through the fog. And this time, I wasn't alone.